saying, um, basically how we go through different seasons, and the Lord takes us on this journey, and of course we are to constantly pray that we have a sound mind, right, through every season. And also sometimes when you go through different seasons, it's when you actually go through that chapter that when you look back, you actually realize what the lesson was, or it was to strengthen your discernment, or it was to build up your character, that sort of. So I think that this is where I am, and I'm also just healing from wanting everything to be perfect all the time, and just really just doing it, just doing it. It doesn't matter if it looks messy. There's this movie that I was watching actually. What is it called? The Setup. So it's about this girl and this guy who sets up their bosses, and they end up falling in love. But the other guy, or the so let's say the guy is Jack and the girl is Lily. So Lily works for this news reporter, sports hardcore woman who's of course like she's leading the sports reports, news thingy. So she's like she owns this business, right? So she interviews like different personnel in different sports fields, and then this other guy is like I think is an agent or whatever. But they both like they've made it in life. But they now okay, so they come up with this idea to hook them up because they feel like they don't have a life outside of their work, right? And and then so they set them up. So how they meet is the girl has to fetch food for her boss, and she meets this guy. She discovers that she's left cash, so the guy actually pays for the meal, and she begs him. She pleads with him like my boss needs this food. If I don't, I'm gonna get fired. So they take half of the meal. Like it's a whole funny scene there. So in the end, they end up like falling in love, the two bosses, and also the guy and the girl. So along their journey of like knowing each other, their weaknesses and their strengths, so the guy is like, it's like the guy worships his boss, but the boss is like a real like mean individual who's like really conceited and like selfish, like real misogynistic guy. So the girl, on the other hand, is like nerdy, but she's fun to be around. Like she's like her sole purpose is to like get this job and maybe one day become a writer herself or a news reporter or whatever, like a sports reporter. But she specifically wants to be a writer. So as they get to know each other, the the guy they have like a falling out or whatever in a relationship because they start to fall for each other. You know the typical rom-com movies. So anyway, so this guy, as they're like having this falling out, they say some things that they like mean stuff. But the one thing that stood out for me that the guy said was like, uh, oh, actually, it was a friend who, when this girl was like moping because she got fired, when she actually came clean about setting up her boss with this other guy, because the guy was the other boss, who's the male boss, turned out to be like a real moron. Like he turned out to be like a real douchebag. I'm sorry. But anyway, so she's like, okay, I'm gonna come clean, and I can't believe you want, Christy to continue. That's the boss's name with this relationship, even though your boss is like, he's basically using her. Like he doesn't really love her because he went back to the ex-wife or whatever the case might be. So, but anyway, so when she's like, she got fired, and then her friend comes over and she's like, why aren't you writing anything? Because she's like in her head so much. And the friend is like, you need to get out of this slump. You need to actually write something. If it's horrible, it will be horrible. It will be a horrible first article, but the point of the matter is you would have written something. All right. So I think that really stood out for me. I didn't actually have to talk about the whole movie, but it's a great movie, just in case you want to watch it. But anyway, so she actually writes this really crappy article, and it turns out it's a really great article because in the end, her ex boss, who's the hardcore female, she has to go by the office and she has to get something, and the boss is like, "Oh my gosh, this place is falling apart. She was his secretary without you." And she actually says that I actually wrote something, and the boss is like, "Okay, let me read it for you," or whatever the case might be. But the point of the matter is, we spend so much time being in our heads and wanting things to be perfect or to be a certain way when we should just be showing up every single day, right? That's what this other channel lady said. She's Asian, but like, yeah. And she was like, the best thing that you can do for yourself is stop planning, stop being in your head so much, and just do what it is that you wanted to do. Like, write the first article, even if it's horrible. Um, do whatever it is that you have been planning for so long. Oh, and then she said something like, if you want to bake a cake, but it's like you have the ingredients and now you put all the ingredients together, it's still not a cake if you haven't actually put it in the oven, right? And actually open that oven. It's just ingredients. So I think that was really amazing. So anyway, also because um, what I'm thinking right now is how we always want to do things the way that everybody else is doing it when you have your blueprints. I'm going back to what I was saying. When you have your personal blueprints that is going to make you you, right? And whatever it is that you want to do. This is my 2 cents for today. But anyway, I got something from this video. Like, I'm actually really happy that I got to do it. And I hope the first one will upload. And I'm going to end this here for today. And I will see you guys in the next one. Until then,